We got hards on. We're going to the end.
Down under. That's right. We're back. We're back like we never left. Formula One, Australian Grand Prix. I feel like for the last maybe just a year, my memory doesn't go any further back than maybe just the last year, but I feel like Australia a lot of times recently it's been delivering absolute chaos, absolute cinema, Martin Scorsese, whatever you want to say. And this year, I would like to say it's more of the same. But I've got bad news for me only. It's not actually bad news for you. I woke up, crack of dawn to watch this race. Tell me why I click on it's 18 laps in. That hurts. That hurts. And it's on me. It's on me. I have a very vivid memory of clicking the little graphic on the Sky Sports F1 Instagram page. And, it gives you the times for like the FP1s on twos, like I'm actually going to watch that. And then, the qualifying and the race, right? And I have a very vivid image I can see in my mind's eye. And I remember it saying 5 a.m. for qualifying and 5 a.m. for the race start. And I know usually the race is like an hour earlier the next day than it was for qualifying. And I remember thinking at the time, oh, that's weird. Usually it's like an hour earlier. So I thought, okay, maybe it got pushed forward an hour or something because of rain, and they wanted to try and stop maybe heavy rain towards the end of the race. But then I went back and I checked the graphic. I'm realizing no one cares. I went back to check the graphic. Basically, it did say 4 a.m. So clearly, my mind was playing tricks on me, and that's when I'm meant to be awake, let alone watching it asleep. And I was literally trying to get trying to get the race up at 5 a.m. Thinking, God, this is the crack of dawn. In reality, I was actually an hour late. Literal tears streaming down my face. This wasn't sadness. This is because it was just so. You gotta imagine, right? The alarm goes off at bang on at like 5 minutes to 5, and I'm there on my laptop, sort of Liam Lawson style in the bed. If you've seen the photo, and there are tears because the first thing my eyes are doing are locking into a cheap laptop screen, and I'm trying to find it, and then imagine my chagrin. Okay, when I see we're 18 laps in. To be fair, I think the start of the race was so chaotic that there was red flags and stuff. So like being an hour late and only missing 18 laps out of a 57, I think 57 right lap race is pretty decent. I'll take that. And if you're ever gonna fuck up like this, make it be the first race. And normally, I don't mind so much because like I hate waking up 4 a.m., 5 a.m. in general, but for a race. And then there's red flags. Like I love red flags. I love the crashes and the chaos and that sort of peaks and troughs, right? But yeah, when like I said, you got literal tears streaming down your face and your eyes are red raw, and then like by the way as well, red flag before the race even starts. Oh my god, I'm gonna just kill me now because I want to kill myself. Anyway, let's talk about the actual race. I'm doing something dangerous right now. I'm raw dogging it. I've got no notes basically. I've got a laptop in front of me because like I will like stuff on Twitter which I feel like is relevant to talk about. But I've got no notes. Basically, because I sat down and was like, let me go through, let me like write out what the order was in qualifying, let me write out the race order. But then I thought, fuck it, we'll do it live. Although this isn't live, this is obviously pre-recorded. But I just thought, is it possible? Like other note, like it takes a while to write down all the bullet points of things that happen, little radios here and there, and it's just like I don't know. Let's just try and freeball it. I don't know what's with this raw dogging, freeball, all these like phrases we're coming out with for what is just seemingly normal conversation we're trying to have here. But it's just what's flowing to my lips like poison right now. So there's that. Obviously, I'm going to try to remind myself of how we do this here. 3 sectors. Obviously, not done this since like October or December of last year, right? But rate was it? Rate my qualities the first sector. Then we go into the race rundown, and then we I don't remember what the third one's called. We give the drivers what do we do? Soft, medium, hard awards. That's right. Which I've not even decided yet who my soft, medium, and hard drivers are yet. But I will by the time we end this. Okay. That's actually a running theme of being not prepared. But I'm going to bring up the qualifying here. Qualifying was it raining in qualifying? I don't think it was. I think it was actually pretty dry. This was a pretty flawless week for Lando in the sense of he was on pole, he won the race, got fastest lap. Now there was a couple like heart stopping. I was about to say ball dropping. That's not that doesn't work. Was it like my stomach, my heart fell out of my ass, is what I'm trying to say, a couple times in that race, and that's, it's in the parts of the race you will imagine, but we'll get to that. Qualifying anyway, it was good. Now again, a couple moments where I wanted it all to stop because I think they both went out early for Q3, right? And I mean, I think Lando's lap time got deleted and Piastri made a little mistake, went into the gravel maybe. And I'm like, okay, no, great. It all comes down to this. And the thing about Max, actually kind of annoying about Max, is I just want to see him against someone competent. No, I'm back in Lawson this season. I'm not jumping on the hate train like everyone. Everyone's like, that train departed well before the race even started. Like that's in full steam ahead. People are on that train and they're loving life and they're having a great time at the moment. I don't want to be on that train. I'm stood firmly on the platform, right? But I do want him to get up to speed because I want to know how, like, whole of last year people acting like that Red Bull is terrible and Max is getting the most out of it. But it's like, I just can't. It's the same argument people have for Alex Albon. It's like, I need to see him next to someone to know what any of this means. Like, there is a world where going into this race, Albon could have been outqualified by Sainz by like 7/10. Like, we just assume he gets the most out of the car because he's against, you know, Latifi and Sargent and he beats them by so much. But then it's one of those things like, well, if we put a Sainz next to him, is Sainz going to demolish him? Is Sainz going to be at the same level? Like, you just don't know. It's all relative to each other type thing. It makes it tricky, you know? So it's hard again. It's like, where is this Red Bull? Like, is Max still challenging for wins? Like, is the Red Bull in general quicker than the Ferrari, quicker than Mercedes? I don't know anything. I know nothing. And it makes things difficult. But anyway, Australian, that's definitely spelt wrong. Quali, and we'll get this up. I mean, I can remember most of it off the top of my head. I gotta say, it wasn't a race weekend for the rookies. That's hard to say pretty quick. A race weekend for the rookies. But I mean, we'll get into the hadger of it all. I mean, it's tricky because they do the little, like, like actors round table type thing where you get all the actors in and they get to talk to each other and ask each other questions. They're the little, like, rookie round table, right? Didn't invite Liam Lawson. I'm a little bit offended, right? And it's like, I guess he's not a rookie because he's had like 2 times now where he's filled in for like pretty long periods of time. But like, unless you have a confirmed seat and you're racing for a team now, I feel like you're a rookie. Invite my boy. Invite my boy. All right, this whole Lawson is the most annoying guy on the grid. No one can stand to be around Lawson. His like voice is like nails on a chalkboard. Like people like dissecting, zoom in, enhance type thing. Like on video clips between Lawson and Verstappen, and then cross-referencing them with like Daniel Ricciardo clips. He was so much happier here, doing like their own sort of homemade lie detector tests on Verstappen and people's reactions to seeing Lawson and like body language experts and all this stuff. Like Lawson came in to this new season wearing sunglasses and with a new trim, and now people want his demise. And it's one of those things like, I don't know. You got to ask yourself this, right? If you're on Twitter going, oh, this is really weird. I really liked Lawson. I really wanted him to get in that seat. But now he's in there. I just really want him to fail. Why is that? Next question, ask yourself, are you English? There it is. Because that's just the classic English mentality. You like someone, you want them to do well, and the second they get there, fuck you, go kill yourself, fuck up. You don't, it's like knock them down type thing. And look, I'm the same. Because I'm also a hypocrite, right? I remember thinking, I love George Russell and this Williams, Mr. Saturday, we're all here for it. Then you got into that Mercedes car and I just thought, crush him, Lewis, type thing. I'm like, why do I kind of want him to? And I've kind of went full 360 on Russell. Russell is an interesting flavour. You got to learn how to season it. You got to learn how to use it. It can be overbearing, but like once you realise what you're eating here and what you're playing with, you're like, okay, no, this is actually really fun. I quite enjoy this. But I don't know. Lawson's kind of getting that treatment, and I just feel like he has confidence. He's assured of himself. And like with F1, it all comes down, it's all just favoritism. One driver can spin off a track and get back on and they're a hero. Another driver can spin off a track and they're dog shit. One driver can say this and a thing, another driver can say the exact same thing, and they can be flipped in different ways. The whole thing is just favoritism. It's just huge favoritism. But you know, it is what it is. So Lawson didn't do great. How are the other rookies didn't do great in qualifying? Behrman was not. I mean, Behrman was like crashing in like FP1, FP2, like, and then he was like one of the few rookies who was able to, go through and complete the whole race. Although in my eyes, the only real rookie by Formula One standards anyway, who completed the race was Kimi. Because like, sure, Behrman's not had as much racing as Lawson, but Behrman still had like what 2, 3 races at least, stepping in for like I think a couple times in the Ferrari, a couple times in the Haas. So he's had races. He raced in the wet in that like Interlagos where he thought he was gonna die. I was watching that one back on Drive to Survive the other day when he was like freaking out. And like they're just breathe, calm down, Baron. He's like, I can't fucking say. It was like going crazy. So he's been through it a bit. Kimi's the only one who's like straight in first ever time racing right in Formula One, and then went on to finish. And Kimi was one of those ones where it's like you kind of sometimes don't know if you like or don't like a driver yet. You go off like a little bit of interviews, their backstories, like their upbringings. You're like, I don't like them. I think they're privileged, or that's most of them, right? You kind of have this perception of if you like them or don't like them. But for me, a lot of the times, I don't really know if I'm gonna back or not back a driver until I see it happening on the track. And like, it's so much of liking the driver, by the way, is whoever they're paired with. It's like, I really love Russell. Oh, he's against Hamilton. Fuck him. Fuck him. Type thing. And then it's like, think about whichever driver you don't really like that much. Pair him up with a driver you hate. Now you love that driver. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about Kimi. Am I going to like him? He's this like young hotshot who's like skipped categories and been fast forwarded to Formula One and stuff. And he's like 18 years old. Am I going to want him to fail? Am I going to like want him not to be the truth type thing? How am I going to feel about him going up against Russell? Who am I going to want to come out on top more in races? And I sat there watching it, and Kimi was doing well. And I kind of sat back and went, I like this. I think I'm a Kimi guy. I think I like the fact that Kimi's good. I think I want him to be the truth. And I'm a Kimi head. I think that's what we're calling ourselves now. I don't know what we're calling it, but I think I like Kimi. Like he's not one of my favorite drivers or anything. Like if I had to pick 2 drivers, it's Lando and it's Lewis. Els, and we trust me, we take them. But yeah, I mean, there's drivers I like generally. You got Alex Albon's. I like Albon. I like Piastri, and Piastri's a perfect example of like who you're with. I like Piastri until Piastri's 2 tenths behind. Telling me I'm faster, but okay. Let me race. Let me go for it. And then all of a sudden I'm like, fuck Piastri, type thing. But I love Piastri. I love Piastri till he's breathing down my driver's neck. And this race I was really like, God, Piastri actually might be an issue. Just when he was gaining and gaining, I thought, Lando's got a bit of pace in the bag. He's really good at managing tyres. And it's just like, he's getting close now on the DRS. And I was getting nervy. Because like, as much as I think Lando's their number one in their head, and like how if they've got the fastest car, they're going to prioritize Lando and this and that. And Crofty went over it. Like it's true. Like if as much as Lando's number one, and he's more experienced and all this and that, and he's beat Oscar the last 2 seasons they've raced. Whoever has got more poles, he's got more race wins, all of that shit. If like Piastri overtakes Lando, and if the exact opposite happens, it's like you put two chemicals into a pot and 2 chemicals into a pot, and there was 2 different reactions that happened, right? And if you just switch those over, and Norris got Piastri's outcome, and Piastri got Norris's outcome, and Piastri wins this race, and Norris finishes like 8th, and Piastri's the one leading the championship after Verstappen led it for 1,000 days, like, that happens, and then say he then carries that confidence to China, puts it on pole, and Lando's second, and then they're in the race, and now Oscar's obviously was on pole. He managed to keep his lead. I feel like he's pretty good at starts, and he's now leading this race after being ahead because he won the first race, and there's a decent gap, and now he's getting priority strategy because he's the lead driver. All of a sudden, you're walking out of the first 2 race weekends, Oscar's pretty far ahead, and everything just switches and flips on itself. And it's like, I guess we are backing Oscar now, Oscar, because we're now, all of a sudden, you're 4 races, you're 5 races, you're 6 races, you're 7 races into the season, and Oscar's ahead, and sorry, Lando, but by circumstance, it's now Oscar. And that would have broke my heart. I hate to say Oscar, but It's all just circumstance. It's all just I'm a Lando guy. I'm a Lando guy. Um, Let me look through. I mean, Tsunoda was P5. This is what people were loving. Is that like this weekend was just everyone's chance to like say I told you so before like it's even all said and done. Being like, oh guys, it's gonna freaking rain tomorrow, and it gets to tomorrow, and the sun isn't out, and then you start saying fuck you, I told you so. And it's like it's not even rained, like it's not even all said and done yet, like it's not even actually happened yet. It's like there's 24 races, right? And like that's not including sprints, right? And people already, oh Lewis, you made the wrong decision going to Ferrari. The two Mercedes were above those Ferraris. You fucked up. Oh, Lawson shit. Red Bull fucked up because Yuki was ahead of the Red Bull drivers. Oh, you like, and you could just do that. Oh, Bearman, and you could just go through so many people and be like, shit, shit, shit. You know what I mean? And just keep doing that. Someone actually surprised me because I thought he was just gonna be like non-competitive dog shit. Jack Doohan, he was having a decent qualifying, and I was just kind of surprised. I just thought he was just gonna be so mid, but he was all right actually, all things considered there. But is there anything else to mention from Albon beating Sainz in qualifying was interesting to me. That's another one though. Oh, Albon, I told you Albon was going to show up Sainz. I told you. And it's like, I want Albon to beat Sainz. I like Sainz, but I like Albon more, and I want Albon to show like I can actually hang with good people. I can actually blend in here and not look out of place. And actually, he was rumored to go to get that Ferrari seat at one point, right? And it's like I just want him to show that. And but that being said, this is the first race and weekend and stuff, and like people are already being like, "I told you," as if like he could not lose literally every other race leading out to the end of the season. Gasly was P9, Hadjar 11, Alonso 12, Stroll 13. You had a decent weekend, but I don't know. You're not going to find anyone waxing massive lyrical about Stroll. Oh, and Bearman did not start. He didn't even do qualifying. I didn't even notice. Bortoletto outqualified Hulkenberg. But yeah, I think Lawson had some engine issues, I think, for at least FP3, or didn't get to run it, or something like that. Like, I'm not too worried about Lawson. I think he'll be fine. But yeah, I think that's everything quali related. Obviously, it was crazy close between Norris and Piastri in that qualifying, and Piastri obviously puts it on pole because he was going first, and then Norris takes it, and I was over the moon. But yeah, that was all good. Going into the actual race now, because that's what we got to talk about next. Going into the race rundown. Obviously, I didn't get to see so much of the start because once I tuned in, it was obviously post red flag, post Isaac Hadjar, and this is the thing about favoritism. Isaac Hadjar looks like a little teddy bear. He looks like a little teddy bear. He's fucked up. He's a rookie. Made a mistake, and everyone's like, oh, Hadjar. How old is Isaac Hadjar? How old is this guy? Isaac Hadjar. How old are you, mate? 1 minute. I just want to jerk something real quick. Currently 20th in F1. Helmut Marko made some interesting quotes about him that I think I have somewhere. He's where is it? He's 20 years old. Okay, and I want to check something else. So he's 20, right? I forgot what I said already. Okay, Isaac Hadjar's 20. 2002. Oh, and 23. Okay, fine. There's 3 years difference and a bit of experience, whatever. But either way, right? Isaac Hadjar, 20. Liam Lawson, 23. Okay. Liam Lawson's had obviously stints following under Ricciardo. I get there's differences here. This is his first time in an F1 car. I know. But it's like Hadjar's like, oh, Hadjar's doing TikToks with Yuki Tsunoda. Oh my god, hug him. Oh my god, no, he spun out before the race even started. Oh little baby angel, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it in this world, and if you don't, I'm gonna make sure you do. And then when it's Liam Lawson, it's like, fuck you, shit, fuck. Yeah, you thought you could, Yuki should have. And it's just like, it's crazy because like, when Daniel Ricciardo was gunning for that seat, everyone was talking the biggest shit about Yuki Tsunoda. Tsunoda's a hot-headed, you know, ticking time bomb who's just not professional enough to get that seat. That's Daniel's seat. Fuck Yuki. Yuki wasn't even that much better than Daniel. And now Lawson's in there. It's all Yuki. Why did they not just give it to Yuki? Should have given it. I've been saying this whole time Yuki should have had it. Blah, blah, blah. It's all just agendas and point of views shit. And like, it's like there's six rookies here. As far as I'm concerned, there is six rookies. Behrman, Lawson, Hadjo, Doohan, Kimi Antonelli, and Bortoletto. They're gonna get very different treatment. It's just like how you present yourself. Like Behrman walks around. It's like, oh, Behrman. To be fair, Behrman's 18. Kimi's 18, right? Is Behrman still 18? No, Behrman's got to be 19 by now. But like, so I get it more if you're a teenager and stuff. But I don't know. It's just that like simple things. I think for some Formula One fans is if Isaac Hadja had a full on beard and a bit more of a stank face, people wouldn't give a fuck that he's spun out. I mean, his own words, but it's fucking embarrassing, isn't it? And I like the whole hug from Anthony Hamilton, the little wise words there. I like that. It's the fucking overdoing it on the social media. You know, he's getting that sort of bar mitzvah treatment, that sort of on the shoulders, fucking on the chair. We were gonna carry you over the line. You know that little that cute is currency, mate, in Formula One, and it will get you far. It will get you fucking far, mate. In terms of appreciation, maybe not in the sport. You could still be out tomorrow. But you know that happened. That happens. So yeah, because that red flag was able me to come in at 18, and even though I was like, oh god, I probably missed a lot of crashes and shit like that. Realistically, I was looking at like the race order, which by the way, where were the timings? I think they improved towards the end. Maybe they heard people screaming. But I'm watching the race. I'm thinking, what the fuck's like? I got no clue. They cut to like, oh, Piastri's gaining on Norris. Now let's talk about this other narrative. Okay, but in my mind, I'm still thinking about Piastri gaining on Norris. Brilliant. I can read Verstappen's full name, all the letters. Great. Show me the differences. I'm sitting here. They're talking. Bortoletto is my legs are like bouncing or tapping. You know, I'm sort of like picking at my thighs. You know, I'm sorry. You know, just saying. Okay, Bortoletto's a rookie. Gonna cut back? Are they gonna cut? Are they going to cut back to Piastri, overtaking him? What is going on everywhere else? It's just like, why you change those kind of things? Who has ever said, oh, we want to see less of the time differences and the gaps and shit? That's like, arguably, if you put one of those eye trackers on me where my eye is the most, you know, that's most people. Because most of the time, especially throughout the last 2-3 seasons, you know, it's Verstappen in the lead. And if they're showing Verstappen and your favourite guy is fucking Alex Albon, your eyes are going to be down in the bottom left corner just going, is he catching or is he... You know what I mean? What was going on there was ridiculous. But anyway, when I was looking at the order, I was like, Norris is first still, Piastri's second, Verstappen's third. The Ferraris are still kind of where the Ferraris were when they started. Like, everything was like, oh, people have gone out and stuff, but you know, there's not been too much changes. Like, people will go in like, this is a crazy race. It's so easy to give like a race where there's rain and red flags a 10 out of 10. I don't think it was a 10 out of 10 race. I think like it does, like there was some really exciting moments. A part of me has got a bit of bias because it was so early and I missed the start probably, but like I don't think it was a 10 out of 10 race. Like, and sometimes there's like, it flatters to deceive in a sense, like it sort of suggests this really fun thing could happen, but it doesn't quite happen. But like, there wasn't too much overtakes. And I know there was some crazy overtakes like Piastri on Hamilton for like P9 or P8 or something on the last lap. I know Kimi overtook in the same area, and those are the overtakes people keep going on about. But what I mean is, Piastri never fought Norris. Norris never got into a fight with Verstappen behind, that kind of thing. Like the cars weren't really coming up too much. And Anthony did like a great job getting forward. How much of that was due to like the rain and pitting at the right time and stuff, and how much of that was on track overtakes from like P14 to P4, P16 to P4, wherever he started, which by the way is still immense, but it's like, I think you need great overtakes alongside all the chaos. Like when it's chaos and that's what's changing the order without the on-track stuff, I think like you can't be giving out tens, but we're going to be biased. It's the first race in like 3 months or whatever. But yeah, let me go to Twitter before we back out of this race rundown, because obviously Lando, he gets the dub. I mean, we've not even really spoke about going onto the grass actually. which, like I said, both of them, you know, they both played Russian roulette, and unfortunately, you know, Piastri got his brains blown out. You know, but Piastri somehow managed to like collect his brains like off of the wall and the fucking floor and scoop it back into his head, and or just carry them to the finish line and still make something of it though. So like, and I didn't realize at the time because I'm not really thinking like this, but like I didn't deep that like if Piastri doesn't get out of this, Norris is fucked. Like I wasn't sitting there thinking I hope he doesn't get out of this, but like I didn't grasp or realize in real time that like if Piastri doesn't move right now, there'll be a safety car and Verstappen will take the lead and win this race most likely. So like goated, pretty guided, and just on that grass, and oh man, it was just teasing you. Like when you watch it in like from the fans' point of view, and they're just cheering them like, "Come on, Oscar!" And he's barely moving. Like he's really edging everyone. Like he's like going back, and he's like trying to like swerve it a bit, not trying to get caught too much in the mud anywhere. And then eventually, you know, it's exit. Oh, for everyone, he gets out onto the tarmac and he rejoins the race, and that was crucial. That was crucial. Um, Not only for his race to come and still get a couple points and stuff, but for McLaren as a whole. And and it was similar to like another race. I can't remember which one it was. Maybe Spa. I can't really remember. But it was one of those races where like this happening, that's happening, this happening. It's taking like the weather or situations are taking out these drivers, or bad luck is taking out those drivers and dropping them up or down the grid, or bad team decisions or bad pit stops. But there's one thing that's inevitable, you know? Where does it bring you? Back to me, you know, like, and who's sitting there? Bloody Max Verstappen. And it comes down to it, and despite everything we've just gone through, why have we got 2 laps left and Verstappen is gaining on my boy? You know, it's like, we've just gone to hell and back. You know, everyone's, you know, people are getting shot, people are catching strays. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, now we just see out the victory here. You know, we've escaped a scare and all this and that. And then, you know, 1.2 seconds, 9 tenths, 7 tenths, 4 tenths. And it's just like, fuck. How this guy, you know, he's inevitable. He's inevitable. And that's why even with the quickest car, it's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be tricky. And like I said earlier, 24 races is a long time. I remember like, I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it was looking like we was going to have a season where it was going to be back and forth between Leclerc and Verstappen fighting for a championship. That never transpired, you know. That was like only the first 4 or 5 races of the season type thing. And like, I hope this isn't just a flash in the pan memory for me. The idea that Lando was going to win it. Hopefully, we're looking back at end that season, and it's not the case. It's not the case. But yeah, that was crazy. And I saw it again from like a fan angle. Some people sitting on that corner, they both like swerve angle wise into the gravel in like the exact same way. It's almost like you know, Oscar was like copying all of Lando's moves exactly behind him, and then he like, swerved with the track and he just followed back. Like, they're both in the exact same way in the exact same part, and just luckily Lando was able. Maybe not even luckily. Maybe it's just a skill issue. GG skill issue. I don't, you know, get good. You know, but like he gets back on in a better way and is able to pit. Like kind of last second decision, he pits. Verstappen stays out, does the opposite, and it all works out for him. Because in so many other races, this ends with Lando like PA and Oscar out of the race or something like that. Because it's just very McLaren-y for the race to have went that way. But somehow they managed to come through it all. And you know, I remember saying this about Interlagos with Max, like a great drive and all this kind of chaos and stuff, but there was so much, just so much shit. People think that's an amazing race. I kind of agree with other people who go, it was just like, it's like watching a superhero film or an action movie, and it's just like it's like the race was directed by Michael Bay. You know what I mean? It was just like lens flares, crash. It was just like, what the fuck is even happening? And just non-stop. And but through all of that, Max Verstappen, Shia LaBeouf style, you know, plot armor. You know, there's things raining from the sky. He's sliding down skyscrapers that are falling, you know, plummeting to the earth, and he's just fine, hunky dory. You know, and that's what Max Verstappen was doing. And it's like, how does he always come through these situations? And it's just, you know, he gets it done. He gets the job done, and he's going to be a constant there. And yeah, it was also mixed conditions, so it's hard to know what all the cars are going to be. And it's also nice to see like Hamilton definitely wasn't punchy this weekend, but he was, considering he's not punchy in the car yet. Like in the first corner, the fact that he kind of just feels like he's sort of, with the overtake on Leclerc and that, and doesn't make it happen. Whereas Leclerc does it on him, like sort of towards the back end of the race. I'm like, all in all, 2 tenths behind in qualifying, finishing basically a position or two behind him in the race. That ain't awful. Hopefully you can get closer throughout the whole season. But we're going to say it, and I'll say it again. 24 races. Is that right, or is there more or less? I don't even know. I keep saying that like it's fact. It might not be true. Let's look through my liked tweets here, just to, God forbid they ever not release, but make liked tweets not private anymore. Because I don't like tweets I actually like. That's a misconception. I'm just liking stuff I want to get. I use it like I'm bookmarking stuff. Get like going back to it, like we're going to reference something later or show someone something, or like, I use it like that. So like there is, there is stuff in my like section, borderline problematic, okay, that I don't like, or opinions I don't agree with, but I just wanna see it. But it was, it was. I mean, Piastri makes the mistake, but I think ultimately he comes out with a lot of credibility if you go online, because he's got a huge fan base, which is that Undertaker style. He came back to life. They had the graphic on screen. He's between Ocon and Behrman, and he's out. His little light flashes off. They pulled the plug on his ass, and they're just putting the coffin. They're putting the blanket over his face, and his eyes, bang, they're open. He's alive again. He's back in the thing. And sometimes you can like spin out, you can make a mistake, you can do like a low skill thing, but it makes you look better. The amount of times that Max has spun out, but like he saves it, and it makes you look like more like it makes you look like more of a G than if you just didn't spin it at all in the first place. But anyway, let's look through these things here. I mean, we had Norris's mum. Like she was so like shocked, and like just her face like is in so much pain when Piastri goes off. I was like, I swear that's Lando's mum. But no, she was just screaming about her adopted son, Oscar. Because I was like, whoa, her reaction is so big that I was like, is this a delayed reaction, or is this actually Piastri's mum? But neither. No, she's just her adopted boy almost beached himself. Isaac Hadj's exact quotes was, "I'm just sorry for the team right now. And my close ones watching the race, it's just embarrassing." I like his comments, because I feel like I'd feel the same way. Like, fucking hell, my first race, everyone's out in Australia, and I didn't even start it. A little bit awkward, but no one's gonna hold it against him. What else? I swear there was more stuff. I mean, I want to see what what's his name? Helmut Marko said. Here we go. Speak of the devil. Isaac Hadjar did a little bit of crying. Oh, sorry. I need to get this right, because the way he says it is great. Isaac Hadjar did a little bit of a crying show after this crash. That was very embarrassing. To be fair, actually. To be fair to Helmut Marko, like he calls it a bit of a crying show, alluding to his by the alligator to his boohoo, get good, son. Like that's kind of what he's saying. Although these are two separate quotes put together. He might be saying the crash, in a formation lap, whatever, in your first Grand Prix is embarrassing. This makes it look like he's saying Isaac had a little bit of a crying show after his crash. That was very embarrassing. Like the crying after you crash is embarrassing. I don't know which one's about. People like to put quotes together. Either way, I shouldn't be defending the Dark Lord or whatever, but here we are. Kimi Antonelli, second youngest point scorer in history after Max, is it? 18 years old, 6 months, 19 days, and 12 points. And so many times when you see this kind of stuff, like the youngest to do it, they bring up the age, and it's like 18 years, 12 months, and 364 days, and you think, fuck it. Like just about 18, you know what I mean, type thing. But he's actually firmly in there. We like that. Because I've decided I'm a Kimi guy. The debrief room was actually pretty interesting. I couldn't hear most of it, but there was a lot to watch back basically for the drivers, and it's crazy. Like you can tell Lando's watching back like the race and stuff, and he sees Oscar go off, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that was dangerous." But he doesn't really give a fuck if Oscar goes off. I know they want to win the constructors, sure, and he was happy to win the constructors and that. But like, obviously, this season he really wants the drivers and that, and Oscar's his biggest competition. And he's like, Oscar's great, and Oscar's gonna give me a hassle. Like him and Verstappen will, work me hard, uh, in a racing way. Um, but the real pain, not even seeing himself go off, was when he saw Carlos. When he saw Carlos DNF, he was like, "Oh, Carlos, no, Carlos!" Like my heart cracked, like his heart broke in that moment because that's an unrequited love going on there. Um, I've just got so many memes I'm just scrolling past right now of different scenarios where it looks like every driver in the grid cannot stand Liam Lawson. Like his voice just drags on people, his grating voice, his just aura. There's this clip of like Jack doing turning around, seeing seeing Liam Lawson and looking him up and down like he's literal dirt. Um, these are just all circumstantial, I'm sure, but it's kind of funny. I'm a Lawson guy still, but it's just kind of funny. Um, that's just the situation he's in, the bad performance he's had, the clip with Verstappen where he's like, "Ta-da! My new glasses on you up," and everyone's just dead silent. Like it's like he's doing a bad stand-up set. Like he's just like trying to do crowd work. It's just not. All right, that what you don't think so? Like he's like still going with the joke, and it's like get him off stage. Um, like this is he's the character assassination going on right now. Honestly, it's got to be like your big. When people always say, "Oh, my biggest fear would be becoming like." Um, Becoming social discourse online, like posting people will just post a photo like with their partner or something, or just like an inconsequential, just like a whatever photo, and then it gets taken by Twitter and people start dissecting it and it becomes like a topic of discussion. People are breaking down and stuff and having their own little debates about it, and you're just like the original photo. The biggest fear is stepping into something and just becoming a narrative and just becoming a thing which you never really did anything for. All he said was, "That's my fucking say." I'm fucking pissed. The amount of times in Drive to Survive, it cuts to Lawson and he's basically effectively, he's just eating lunch. People just asking him questions and he's like, "Oh no, yeah, mate, I'm fucking pissed." Like that's just like his demeanor all the time. But people liked it before he got in the seat and now it's like a thing. And, it's given Yuki stance have really rose up. The whole like Kendrick Lamar of it all. See like memes like that, like from the Super Bowl, like Yuki walking past the garage and that, like Liam Lawson, like talking about Christian Horner, like or whatever it is. I don't know who Yuki fucked over, but whatever. James Vowles was saying how like Carlos was a great strategist, was giving him love, was glazing him up. From the sidelines, Carlos was apparently calling the shots because the people that apparently they pay the big bucks to aren't as good as just like Carlos, I guess. And to be fair, I agree. Carlos is a great strategist. I remember like at Monaco and stuff in the rain. Like he's just really good with the weather like that, and not in the Mazepin way. But he was like, in Russia it's different. The clouds are different here, and acting like he had some hero moment. Like he actually like is good in those kind of scenarios. Obviously, Antonelli kind of got his P4 taken away and given to Albon because of like an unsafe release or something. But they look back, it came back to Antonelli. He went from P16 to P4. That's kind of crazy that no one's really talking about that. I'm not sure how that went down. If that all happened within like one of those safety car boxing moments, if that was a lot of overtakes, I don't know how it happened, but it's still impressive. Right behind George was in P3. We spoke about the Anthony Hamilton thing. Who goes over to Hadjar, and like he goes over to Hadjar and he's really nice to him and that. But is that just because? No, actually no. To be fair, he didn't win. He didn't win F2. I was gonna say, didn't he win F2? That was Bortoletto. So I was gonna say, is that because he thinks he's a good rookie? Like, if it was Lawson Lawson's had races, but if it was Lawson, right, and he crashed out in that formation lap, does Anthony Hamilton even get up from his chair, type thing? Like out of the rookies, who does he go over to and actually say nice things to? Probably Bortoletto, and Hadjar, and Kimi. Yeah, probably Behrman as well, British. But out of Jack, does he go to Jack Dillon? I don't know, but I know for a fact he ain't going near Lawson with a 10-foot pole. So there's that. Um, Melbourne curse, apparently. I mean, Leclerc won in 2022, DNF 2023. Verstappen won in 2023, DNF 2024. Sainz won in 2024, DNF 2025. So Lando should just basically stay at home for the 2026 Australia. Good opener though. I don't know if we usually open in Australia. My memory again is shit, but it's a great place to open. I think it gives great races. This Ferrari meme. Why did they have that photo, by the way? Where they're looking disappointed and stuff, because that's been used already. Um, I mean, Hamilton with his strategist basically just being like, "Shut the fuck up," and the strategist just wasn't getting the very obvious clues of Hamilton not wanting to talk to him. Like every time they cut to a radio, uh, and it was Ferrari and it was Hamilton, I was genuinely curling my toes and cringing, like, "Mate, he just said shut the fuck up." Leclerc, little funny radio. Leclerc's like, my seat is filling with water. Like I am filled with water right now. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like I'm filled. Like I'm swimming in my chair of water. Is something wrong? And they're like, well, what did you say? What liquid did you say it was? Water. Oh yeah, yeah. We think that's probably rain. Not even they was like that's probably water then. Like they kind of had the energy where they wanted to say something technical, like oh that will be like we think that's just like that's just the H2O that's entered from the upper stratosphere. But it was like oh you're filled with water, that's water then. That's probably water because the water that's falling. Like Leclerc's like great wise words there, but like I don't know. I mean, how much was you filled with water? Like it is raining right now and you're wet. Leclerc also could have put two and two together with what might be happening there, but no, maybe Ferrari just gaslighting him and he actually was had some leaky thing or whatever. Like I don't know. Like was he in a bathtub in there? That might be quite nice. Was there anything else to mention really? Unless I went over it by accident. I think that might be everything, which is good because this is 42 minutes, which for me is like 4 hours. Um, but yeah, no, it was good. I enjoyed it. China next, literally next, which is cool. No little break. And I mean, I haven't done my soft medium hard awards. All right, soft Hadja. Sorry, you didn't even start. Like people won't be giving it to Hadja because of I don't know cute factor or whatever. But like he didn't even fucking start. I gotta give him the soft award. I mean. I've not even mentioned Stroll, and he did finish P6, which is decent for him. Hulkenberg finished P7, that's good for him. But these are just boring narratives to me. The mid awards, the medium award, the medium award. I'm going to give it to Russell, who did the classic Russell thing, which is inherit a podium, which is do nothing of note the entire race, but be there. Be there when the guys ahead crash out. He even said, like, in his interview after, God, I saw Norris and Verstappen fighting, and I just thought, please crash, and I could maybe just get a win here, but no, I guess I'll take my third, which I also just inherited by luck, really. Not by luck, well, I guess kind of by luck, but I mean, he keeps his nose pleased, fair play, but it's like, he gets a decent amount of podiums. I feel like Austria was the same, he walks into a kind of podium like that, but he gets a decent amount of podiums where he kind of just, I'll just keep it on track, and that's honestly a great way to go about it. So I'll give it that. I'll give that to Russell because it was a podium, but it was like he didn't do a single fun thing. And then the hard awards, I want to give it to Norris because of just the weekend as whole is pretty good. He went on the grass pretty safe. That's pretty cold, and he didn't break my heart and do the Lando thing, which would be to get overtaken by Verstappen and then complain about being driven off road or something. Even though he's technically right, it's like okay, but just be aggressive back. I kind of want to give it to Piastri just because I have been won over by that whole like, driving out of the grass thing. Which like people are like, whoa, he's got this warrior mentality, warrior spirit, never give up. And like in reality, he was just sort of like sitting there, probably with the same expression he always has on his face, just reversing and praying to God, So like, sure. So maybe I won't fall into that trap. Maybe I will just give it to Lando because I'm a Lando stan. I'll give it to Piastri because he's down under, he's at his home race, and he did get that great move on Hamilton actually, which breaks my heart because I love Hamilton. But it was a great move. Like we said, next is China. And have I seen a race at China before? Like, is this China's return? Was we at China last year? Don't know, but I'm excited. I think that one's like 4 a.m. again. So, fuck you. I'll talk to you then, though. We got odds on. We're going to the end. Thank you. Goodbye.